Yo! This is Oscar Project, man. Today we're back again, another video. I just ate, so if you hear some sudden burps try to come up, I go like this. That's what it is. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk about it, man. I hadn't had a chance to get home until just now. So, other than when I watched the PLA that we're about to talk about right now, Night of Champions 2025. You know what I'm saying? Night of Champions, man. Let's go ahead and go down. I'm gonna call about one or two spots of the match. The ending of the match. That's really what I'm gonna do throughout this whole review. Like I said, I'm gonna say a spot or two that I remember. Obviously the finish of the match, and then what I thought, and the score on our predictions as we did our predictions. But anyway, let's get into it, man. We started off the show with the King of the Ring, not the Ring General like Gunther, but anyway, King of the Ring finals, and that was Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes. So look, we did Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes, and like I said in my preview, if you didn't see it, go ahead and check out my preview and predictions. But anyway, I said that this match, we kind of all figured, or we kind of thought when Cody came back and this match was, possible and stuff like that, that it was going to be some big time story and it was going to be magic in their first match. And here it was actually a good match, but, thought it was going to be maybe a more in-depth story. But it seems like as we saw how the night unfolded, it could be. But anyway, I gave this match, I think, a 7 to 7.5 out of 10 because it was a good match, but the finish came abrupt. So what happened was, as far as things in the match, I think Randy Orton hit 2 RKOs, and the second one that he hit on, the first one he hit on Randy kind of just came out of nowhere. He just leaped up, grabbed the back of the head RKO, and then the other one was Cody tried to do his disaster kick where he springboards and tries to kick the guy, and he got caught RKO with that one. And then I don't think Cody hit a crossroads on him and Orton kicked out. It may have happened, but I know he did do a Cody cutter and then a top rope Cody cutter on the Randy. He kicked out of those. And then Randy Orton did a superplex to Cody Rhodes off the top rope, and that made him sell his little back. And then the finish of the match was Randy Orton took the top turnbuckle off, where you can see the metal ring there. And he tried to push Cody into it, and then Cody tried to push him into it, and then they reversed a couple times, and then he threw Randy Orton the upper part, like, what's my goddamn armpit itching? The upper part right here, boom, hit the freaking ring post, and then Cody hit his crossroads on the Randy Orton. Referee, didn't see the turnbuckle pad get taken off, but they went into the thing. He hit the crossroads 1, 2, 3, and that was it. And Cody basically cut a promo after saying that I'm coming for whoever ends up being the WWE champion, John Cena or CM Punk. The ball is coming back to me. You know what I'm saying? So that's all he said, plain and simple. They gave him the pyro and everything. The crowd also sung both of their songs, Cody and Randy, so they were really into this match. And I've always said with Saudi crowds, they're either really into a match or they really aren't. Like, there's no, in between. With Saudi, they're either really into the match or they're not into the match. Just plain and simple. No in between. But this match was good. Like I said, started off the show pretty good. The finish could have been a little better in a sense that I didn't mind the finish, but I just think there should have been more build up to the finish. Like the finish of boom, metal ring post crossroads, that's fine. I just think they should have built that drama and anticipation longer than they did. I felt like they should have built that drama of somebody going into that ring post for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then it would have been okay, they're going back and forth. Randy maybe tries to go for a punt kick or something like that, and Cody does a drop toe hold and boom, sends Randy Orton into the thing. And something, right? It's some type of build up into that spot rather than just, okay, I tried to throw you into it, you tried to throw me into it, and then when I tried to throw you into it, you went on it this time. It just was so abrupt of a finish. There was no build up and climactic build up to that ring post getting hit or somebody hitting that ring post. That's all my thing. But other than that, like I said, 7.5 match, they did good. They, obviously have good chemistry and stuff like that. So hopefully we can see that match again because Randy Orton looked pissed. He did not look happy for his friend, right? For his brother that he loves, brother from another mother that he loves. He looked more like, this should have been my crown, man. I lost back to back because he lost to Gunther last year in the King of the Ring tournament last year, and now he lost to Cody this year. It's funny, Cody and Gunther, because they also wrestled each other at Crown Jewel, so crazy how that works. But anyway, or in Saudi Arabia at Crown Jewel last year as well, so it's funny how all that kind of ties like that. But anyway, Randy didn't look good as far as he looked pissed off. Hopefully this does lead to Randy Orton as a heel, because not only is he obviously better as a heel, but I think this roster can use more top heels, because we know Cena is a top heel right now, but he's not gonna be here after this year, so it's they could use some more top heels with all these baby faces like Jay and Sammy on the rise, and Cody and LA Knight, another one that's on the rise, CM Punk, like all these baby faces. They could use some more heels. So far we only got what, like Seth, Gunther, Drew, and like I said, Cena for like a little bit of time. So we could use a great heel in a Randy Orton. Just knowing that they favor all these other baby faces, a heel Orton wouldn't be too bad of a thing if you ask me. But we'll see how that story continues to unfold. The second match of the night was indeed the women's street fight match. It was Rhea Ripley, who got a massive pop from the crowd, obviously, versus Raquel Rodriguez. This was a good match that I can't really rate properly, and maybe give it a 7.5, 8 possibly. I maybe 7.5, because I was like going to pick up some food when this match was happening, so I wasn't able to really, driving on the road, you maybe glance at it a time or a few times, but you're not able to really like focus on the match. But the spot I do remember seeing as I was doing that was Raquel, I think, power bombed Rhea Ripley over the barricade onto like that top part of the announce table, that top part that you can easily just take off. She powerbombed her onto that, and it went, you know what I'm saying? That was crazy. Then Rhea got tangled up into the ropes and got done. Raquel, who, she know all about them got done pinatas, you know what I'm saying? So she went and got done with the kendo stick and started wailing on Rhea while she was caught in the rope. And then there was a spot where Rhea started whipping her with was it whipping her with something? She was whipping her with something, and she just got done going to town. Roxanne interfered at one point, and she got dealt with by Rhea Ripley by way of a little running kick, as she had put a trash can on top of Roxanne's body. I can't even say head, because Roxanne was in a seated position, so she was about in the trash can as you can get, because she's also pretty short, so that's not that hard to do. But anyway, match ended with Rhea delivering a riptide off, not only off the top rope, but it was a table that was on the top rope. I guess that adds just that like a half inch more height, and the referee had to kind of hold it down a little bit for the safety of the wrestlers, obviously. And she did a riptide, her finish off the top, got done rope. 1, 2, 3. You know what I'm saying? So by this point, I was 1-0 on the first match, and then on this I was 2-0 on predictions. I don't know where Rhea goes next. I know they probably really want to get the title back on her, which I can understand that. She's the most over female in the company, over than half of the guys. You know what I'm saying? Or probably even more than half on it, if we're being honest. But I don't know what the plan is for her. Like, I don't know if the plan is to run it back with Io. I don't know if, I don't even know if is that SummerSlam for Io, or does Io lose it to someone? Because Io hasn't really been booked on the show consistently. You would, not even realize that she champion, the way they don't really put her on TV a lot to really do anything like a program and a feud and a match. So I don't know if the goal is to do Rhea in a title match at SummerSlam, or is Rhea just going to continue feuding with the Judgment Day, and maybe there's some type of story there with Liv when she gets back. With, Finn obviously trying to shove Liv out of the picture by replacing her with Roxanne, just like how Liv ended up replacing Rhea. So if there's some entangled story there, I don't know, but we'll see what happens, man. She I don't know if she keeps, and it's funny because she has technically, except it was against Liv Morgan, she technically has already feuded with the Judgment Day. So it's almost kind of like, are we really going back to Rhea Judgment Day again? Because technically she got away from that at the start of this year when she beat Liv for the title, right? And then, then she lost it to Io, and then unfortunately I thought that was going to birth a feud between Rhea and Bianca. That's what I thought was going to happen, because we still haven't seen that singles match on the main roster. So I don't end it because, Rhea, I think Bianca's like front fingers are like broken or something like that. So I know she's waiting to come back. Can't wait to see her. So I don't know. If she comes back in time, is that the SummerSlam match, Rhea and Bianca? I don't freaking know. I don't know if they're going to continue Rhea and Judgment Day story, because like I said, we kind of got away from, we were trying to get away from that when she had 3 matches with Liv Morgan. So I don't know. I guess because they've replaced a couple of girls, Raquel was actually in the story in the middle of the Rhea Liv feud, and then Roxanne has newly got into the picture. So I don't know. Is it going to birth a match between Roxanne and Rhea? I don't know. But we'll see where they go as the plot thickens. Or it didn't really thicken here, because it's not like anything happened in this match to really make you think something crazy was going to happen next. But anyway, sorry that y'all see that I get off on a tangent when I start goddamn brainstorming. Because when you keep up with the show and you're a fan, your mind start going everywhere. But anyway, boom. We got into Karrion Kross's first singles match on a PLE since Crown Jewel 2022 in a cage match with Drew. That is crazy how long it's been. I mean, I think the last time he was on the PLE was WrestleMania 40, but even then, that was like in a match, I think, against the Street Profits or something like that. So it wasn't really all that memorable for you to even realize it. So shout out to Karrion Kross, man, getting himself over on social media. I mean, look, you do what you got to do to get over, man. If you got to use social media for your voice to be heard and for fans to get behind you, God done do it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad he was able to get himself over to the point where they feel like, all right, we got to do something with this guy. He's proven he can, God done make waves, because now it's not just on like on an internet thing of like, oh yeah, give Kross some more TV time. Like the crowds are actually giving him a good pop when he shows up, and they did here in Saudi, gave him a pretty good pop, and then Sammy obviously got a louder pop because, you know, they love him over there. And yeah, they made his interest, and the finish of this match was Sammy was about to, like, not about to tap out, but they were doing the thing where they dropped they raised the arm and let it fall, and if it falls 3 times, then they call a bell. So on the 3rd time, you know, he got done, stopped right there, and, you know, getting the crowd on his feet. The crowd was into this match as well, and yeah, he got to the rope, and then Kross hit like a couple of like running clotheslines into the corner on the Sammy. He hit about 2 or 3 of them, and then on when he was about to go for the 3rd or maybe 4th one, Sammy hit him with the haluva kick, and that was it, man. 1, 2, 3, and I know as Sammy wins this match, by this point I was 3-0 in predictions, and I know some people like the match was like decent, but I gave it like a 6.5, 7. The only reason why I didn't give it a 6 is because I felt whatever they lacked in, I guess, doing a lot of moves or whatever, like, or getting more time in their match, I felt like they made up for it in the story that they were telling of him getting into his head and stuff like that. So that's why I gave it 6.5, 7 at this point. Yeah, so by this point in the show, and I understand some people wanted Kross to win, but, you know, I feel like Sammy couldn't take too many losses, because it's like, yes, Karrion Kross probably could use that win, obviously, and hopefully they continue using him, and he actually does like rack up wins. But with Sammy trying to be basically clearly the next guy they're going to try to make world champion, that's telling that underdog story, as Sammy is the underdog, you know, character, he can't be losing no offense, but he can't, as far as how they've been booked, he can't be losing the Kross right now. Like, if you're trying to convince us you're trying to be world champion, and then you lose the Kross, who, you know, has gotten himself over pretty well, but hasn't like been booked strong yet, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that wouldn't have made him look right. You know, he's like, Karrion is not in that position right now where he should be beating a Sammy. Like, you got to really be on a tear so that makes more sense. But anyway, so halfway into the show, you know, it was decent at best. You know, it wasn't like great. It wasn't terrible either. It was decent by the time we got into here. But then we got to the next match and picked up a little pace as far as like the excitement. And it was the U.S. title match, the one I got wrong here for the first time in the night. And that was Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa. I thought Jacob would retain, because I felt if he's going to lose it, it'd probably be like SummerSlam, like a bigger event, considering he's been undefeated and he's gotten himself over and everything like that. And sorry if you see the TV messing around. But anyway, Solo was mocking Jacob throughout the match a little bit, and Jacob actually ended up getting behind him, and I think he hit like a German suplex or something. And actually, Solo hit a German suplex that was nasty as well, where Jacob did a thing where, you know, he flips over the top and lands on his face and stuff like that. So that was freaking nice. And what else happened in the match? Well, I think I only really remember the finish. Yeah. Tonga Loa ended up coming back, and he like did like a twisting neck breaker or something like that off the top rope to Jacob, and the referee had got knocked down earlier, and the referee came in for the 1-2, and then kick out by Jacob. That's not gonna do it. And then Jacob, I think he delivered like a super kick or something to Solo, and then he did that little handspring where you like, you know, you basically do a handstand onto the rope, you know, so you did a handspring, bang, he did that to knock, I think, Tonga Loa off the top, because JC Mateo was out there as well. And then he did a nice dive over the top rope, where I think he did a thing where, like, instead of a typical dive, it's like he dove, but then like he twisted somehow, like he like dove and twisted somehow, and like landed like pretty much dang near on his feet or whatever. It was pretty freaking nice. And then as the referee was like out or something, or wasn't paying attention, I don't think he was out. I think he wasn't paying attention or something like that. And we got the debut of what were believed, I don't think they even said his name. I think it's well, I mean, we know his name is Hikuleo. I think he's from New Japan or something like that. And we had heard the rumblings about him showing up at some point, actually for a while. So Now he finally showed up and he put Jacob not through the table, but he tried. He put him onto the table more than anything, but slammed him onto it. And yeah, Jacob, and this was after Jacob had hit his mighty moonsault onto Solo Sikoa, and then threw Jacob back in the ring. Referees now all of a sudden paying attention, and Solo hits a spike, and Jacob sold it like how Rikishi was selling them clotheslines back in the day, where he does the twist and then does the front flip, lands on his back. And 1, 2, 3. So they really tried to protect Jacob here for his first ever pinfall loss that he took just now. They really tried to protect him here by having all these members of the Bloodline come out there. Now, the only criticism I have inside of the show, Solo, he's been showing a lot of good, like, different personality. You know what I'm saying? So he's been pretty naturally funny and stuff like that, with the way he mocks people and the goofy mannerisms and stuff like that. He's been pretty great. So it is pretty dope seeing him win his first. It's funny, in Solo's first ever time taking a pin is Solo's first singles title on the main roster, so that's kind of crazy how that works. But yeah, so only thing I have about this feud I'm kind of like iffy about, I think this match probably was a 7. Like 6, 7 was pretty much the theme of the night, because I probably give this match a 7 as well. This was, the only thing is, like, I don't know how many like variations of the Bloodline we're gonna get. Like, this has to be like the third version of the Bloodline, like, because you had the one with Roman. Technically you had the one with Roman and the Usos, then you had the one with Roman, Usos, and Sammy, then it was Roman, Usos, Sammy, Solo, then it was Solo, the Tama Tonga Loa, and Jacob, and now it's Solo, JC Mateo, and Solo, JC Mateo, Tonga Loa, and I don't know when Tama Tonga comes back. We'll see if he's a part of it. And now also Hikuleo. So I just thought about that. Hikuleo, yeah. So it's just that, like, how many variations of the Bloodline we're going to do, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just this Bloodline story is so, I just don't know how interesting it will be to see so many, like, it's like every time they bring in I can't say a Samoan or a Tongan, or I don't know. It's all types of goddamn flavor here with the Pacific Islander side of things. So I don't know how many times we're going to do a variation of the Bloodline. I don't know, man. But hopefully they can lead to something interesting. But I just have noticed, like, man, they were doing so many versions of the Bloodline. Like, at first when they made Solo's Bloodline with the Tongans and Jacob, I can understand that one. But after that one broke up, I'm kind of like, I don't really know how we're still doing, because I don't even think, JC Mateo, I think he's Filipino or something like that, I think, that I read somewhere. So I don't know. It's just a lot of different versions of the Bloodline, because now they got a big guy and now they got a tall guy in Hikuleo. So I don't know. And then we don't know who Tama Tonga side is going to be on, because, he was in the original Solo's Bloodline when he was the leader. He was originally in that one, so I don't know how he's going to feel about that, but yeah, I don't know. I just hopefully it leads to something intriguing, because all of these versions of the Bloodline now, it's just seeming like we're just consistently, no offense but to those guys coming in, but just consistently we're just watering the Bloodline down. Every time we make a new version of it, it's just getting weaker and weaker and weaker. It's feeling like the Bloodline, But anyway, shout out to Solo as U.S. champ. I was a 3-1 on predictions by this point. So, moving on to unfortunately, the worst match of the night, and that was the Queen of the Ring finals, and that was Jade Cargill versus Asuka. The only thing I remember about this match, I'm going to be honest, is the finish. Outside of, like, maybe a couple of kicks from Asuka and a power move or two from Jade, all I remember is Jade Cargill hit Jaded, where she, picks the person up and drops them down. And she does the thing where she tries to do like where she pins them, where she's, like, leaning back, and stuff like that. And she leaned, I guess, too far back, or she got off balance, or her weight got off balance or somehow. And so when she was doing the 1, 2, when they were counting the 1, the 2, and the 3, I think as we were getting closer to that 3 count, like Asuka's, her weight had shifted to Jade's weight when she was doing the lean back pin, and Asuka's, like, it made Asuka's shoulder kind of come off the mat. So it was a little awkward of a finish, but it was also just abrupt. Like, it wasn't like, again, one of those, same with the King of the Ring, where it's like, okay, the finish wasn't the problem, but it was the lack of build up to the finish. You know what I'm saying? So I thought it was the same thing here, and I gave this match like a 4. There was no, the crowd, this was like really the only match I feel like the crowd didn't care for. And it was unfortunately the worst match of the night. And sorry, it was a fly. Looking at it on paper, it kind of felt like, if it was gonna be any match that I felt unfortunately was gonna, like, not be that good, or be like the least and not anticipated, but the least the match that was gonna not be as or was gonna be the weakest. That's the best way to put it. The match I felt was gonna be the weakest was gonna be this one, and unfortunately we were right. And but Jade is your queen of the ring, and we're all kind of thinking, like I said in the predictions, that it's gonna lead to her facing Tiffany, and to further that story with Naomi because of the whole Naomi and Jade story. Hopefully, or we'll see at SummerSlam that Naomi will probably cash in on Jade as she thinking she's going to finally get her moment as the champion and stuff like that. So I thought Jade was the right winner. I was 5-1 on predict or 4-1 on predictions, but I just felt like well, okay, I might have said 4-1 before, 3-1 if I mistakenly said that, but 4-1 now on predictions. But yeah, I thought she was the right winner, but just the match did not hit harder than the honey pack will give the thrill of a round uphill, man. But moving on to the main event of the evening for the Undisputed WWE Championship. Funny enough, at Night of Champions there was only 2 title matches, but it was only 2 championship matches. But anyway, I guess there was still about champions because, right, the winners of the tournament go on to face their champion of their brand. So I guess it does have some still more to do with champions for the most part of the night. But anyway, John Cena versus CM Punk for the Undisputed WWE Championship, man. Look, this is probably my Rock and Austin, as far as like the 2 most iconic rivals going at it. For me, if it's not Cena and Orton, it definitely was freaking Cena and Punk, man. These are the guys I grew up on because I started watching wrestling, I think, around 2011, 2012. So you could see how this would obviously make your boy feel like a kid again, you know what I'm saying, when I was in the single-digit ages. So, anyway, match started off with a lockup. I think they were like, doing your typical, starting off, which I like, starting off with the standard, typical wrestling 101 school wrestling, and stuff like that. And the crowd was up like crazy. They were singing CM Punk's song. They were saying the John Cena sucks and stuff like that when he came out. So they were up for both of these guys. And they were going crazy. They were doing even the ole, 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 ole. They were even doing that chant. But this was before they even really got into any moves, So that's crazy. But anyway, Cena, did his 5 moves of doom, as we can expect. What the which I do feel is the WWE GOAT, you know what I'm saying? As we can expect, our WWE GOAT and or my childhood GOAT superhero and John Cena did his 5 moves of doom in the match, and he didn't get Punk on the first AA he delivered. He also didn't get him on the second AA that he delivered. There was one where I think I think Cena had locked in a STF, his submission, and then Punk locked in his submission with the Anaconda Vice, and then Punk, just not in this order, but then Punk had locked in a STF on Cena. Punk hit an elbow drop off the top rope. Punk did his signature stuff when he did the clothesline, and then the running knee in the corner. What else move-wise was done in this match? I think Cena had kicked out of a GTS, and this I think was after Cena teased hitting him with the title, like, when Cena can't put you away, I think Cena, or actually Punk kicked out of 3 AAs, and Cena was about to because he did the thing where he tried to hit the AA off the top, but then it got countered, and then he caught Punk as he tried for a crossbody. That's, I think, what had him hit the 3rd AA, and Punk kicked out of that. So, Cena, he's like, F it, I'm going to hit him with this goddamn championship. So he had a championship cocked and loaded, ready to get going, and he actually throws the belt out and doesn't hit Punk with it. It's crazy happened to Punk, of all people, that he decided to spare, as you could say. Even though it did low-key happen in front of the referee. But anyway, speaking of the referee, he got taken out with a shoulder tackle by Cena, and that led to Mr. Burn It Down himself, visionary, revolutionary, Seth freaking Rollins. We heard the burn it down. Rollins comes down to the ring. He on business. Like, he wearing the chain, the tank top, a goddamn little red and black jacket and pants and stuff like that. So he was actually pretty serious, man. And he came with his boys, obviously, and Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed. He came down there with his briefcase. He got involved a little bit in the match. I think Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker tried to take out Punk. Punk threw both of them over the top rope, and then a high cross, or did I guess you could say cross body onto the floor, like where he, launches himself over the top rope and lands on him. But the way he landed, he kind of like shifted a little bit like this when he landed. So I thought for a second he almost landed on his head as he was on the way down from when he landed on him. But anyway, then I think what else happened? Did they put somebody through a table in this match? I don't remember. I don't know why I feel like I remember a table breaking in this match, or some match the table broke. I don't know. But anyway, Penta comes out there to try to take out Braun Breaker, and they fight on the outside. Then Sammy comes out there, and he's ended up fighting Braun Breaker, I think, as well. And Penta did do his, walk that he typically does, like just not stand on business. He still did this walk like Jeff Hardy, still doing the dance on the way to the ring. But anyway, when he's coming out to save somebody. But anyway, yeah, Penta and Sammy came out there, and then Penta launched himself off the ramp onto the floor at the top of like where the entrance is at, and that took both of them out. Bronson Reed tried to hit a tsunami onto. Well, I think Seth was arguing with Cena, and then that led to Seth getting hit with an attitude adjustment. Bronson Reed, I think, took him down and tried to do his tsunami splash, but then Punk pushed him off the top, and Cena brought back Super Cena when he muscled up his goddamn 300 plus pound goddamn big boy body is big Bronson Reed, and he muscled him up and hit the attitude adjustment. It was freaking great. And I think then we led to a spot where like Punk was gonna shake Cena's hand, and Cena shook his hand and hugged him, and you like, is he turning, is this the face turner? So they're obviously playing seeds for that. And he did the like mean mugging face like Cena did when he turned heel initially, and that led him tried to do the low blow on Punk. Punk caught it, went for a GTS, and then I think Cena got off his back and pushed him into Seth, who wham, knocked him in the head with the briefcase and hit a stomp on the CM Punk, and then Cena threw Rollins out of the ring and pinned Punk as the referee came back in. And also before that, Charles Robinson, the referee that did the running down the ramp at WrestleMania, he did the same thing here, the same referee in the same run he was doing down the ramp, but got shoulder tackled by Cena out of the way, like how Cena did the shoulder tackle to, I think, Laurinaitis in 2011 Money in the Bank when him and Punk wrestled there. I think he did the same type of thing where like somebody tried to come down and interfere in the match or try to stop the match or whatever, and he got tackled for his troubles. But anyway, Cena after Punk got hit with the briefcase and a stomp, he threw Seth Rollins out of the ring and capitalized on that and pinned Punk for the 1, 2, 3. Man, I was 5-1 total in predictions, and that was the end of the match, and that was the end of the show, man. So they teased the Cena heel face turn that we all know is coming. They teased it again here, and I know some people say that maybe the main events can get kind of redundant with Cena's matches constantly having to have like a big, massive, overbooked finish. But the reason why I like it and or don't mind it is because, one, it adds a lot of thrill, unpredictability, and excitement to the match. Because now it's like, bro, all these characters are coming into play. Now you don't know what's going to happen. So it adds that extra intrigue. And I guess you could say even if it's just a little bit of ounce of like some type of unpredictability. But yeah, man, and also like Cena's obviously a step slower in the ring, so yes, they're gonna have to use a couple of smoke and mirrors to make up for the fact that he can't do as many moves as he once could, or can't move like he once did. Like, they're obviously gonna do that. If you don't know that in wrestling, like, they always do that. When you slow down in the ring, they probably start adding some type of smoke and mirrors, so that you're not just like wrestling as a shell of your former self. Like, there's something to add excitement to make up for the fact that you can't go like you once could. But anyway, y'all let me know how y'all felt about Night of Champions. It'd be interesting to see how the story unfolds with Cody and John Cena, because Cody actually, even though Randy was the one that took off the turnbuckle pad, he actually capitalized immediately off Randy, hurting himself, or he pushed Randy into the ring post to hurt himself and capitalized on it, man. He didn't hesitate this time to try to play it fair or do it right. So it'd be interesting to see you, especially with the Cena teasing the face turn and Cody capitalizing on, Randy, or after throwing Randy into the middle ring post and immediately capitalizing on it. Like, it could see some type of double turn or whatever, because the crowd was booing a tad bit in the Saudi crowd. So like I said, I think this whole Cena thing with him being just a legend and this being his last run, I think this has made people favor him over Cody, even though Cody's the more modern face. I just think Cena has the sympathy right now because they know it's his last year. So anyway, it'll be interesting to see if there's some type of double turn or just how that story unfolds. Hopefully it's something different, because Cody and John on paper doesn't really seem like a match people want to see again, especially with how WrestleMania 41 played out. So hopefully this could lead to some double turn or like some teases, I guess you could say, of that, so that it's a different type of match and dynamic when they face each other once again at SummerSlam. Anyway, y'all let me know how y'all felt about Night of Champions. I'm going to get it up on out of here because I need to post this video. But at the end of the day, what can I say? It is what it is, and what it's going to be is this Prodigy continue to come out with the content, the videos, the bangers over and over again for you guys, doing my thing and doing it well. And I shall see y'all good as well in the next videos. We put in the work around time and never do what we need to do to get where we need to be. I shall see y'all in the next video, and I shall see you at the top, man. Love and appreciate you guys, man. Like, comment, subscribe before you go. Post notification bell so that you know the second a video drops. That is the vibe that DJ's on.